Star Wars has many iconic duos.
I like this thing.
But if I have to pick only one, it has to be Anakin and Obi Wan.
You'll excuse me? I hate it when he does that.
With the Kenobi series just around the corner, I felt like I had to jump on the hype train and make a video with the involvement of the main characters. So I decided to deep dive into this crucial relationship between the Chosen One and his master to figure out what led to the destructive and straight up toxic friendship that evolved over the course of the prequel movies.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy and a cunning warrior, and he was a good friend.
They had a special connection between them, no one will deny that. The Clone Wars series did so much to emphasize how close they actually had become. The legendary never-ending banter between them wasn't only enjoyable and iconic, but also a great illustration of how the relationship had evolved into something more. They weren't master and apprentice anymore, instead brothers, and that wasn't exactly what any one of them needed. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's think back to where it all began.
What will happen to me now?
The Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
Obi-Wan taking on Anakin as his Padawan was a straight-up suicide mission from the very beginning. Qui-Gon's death was the pinnacle changing point that established the Chosen One's tragic destiny. Obi-Wan couldn't possibly be what Anakin needed, because it was only Qui-Gon that fully understood this young innocent child, in which way to actually relate to him, etc. Anakin had already formed attachments. He was unusually powerful, and therefore even more difficult to teach. That a more experienced Jedi didn't nurture and educate him boggles my mind and speaks to the total ignorance and lack of faith in the Chosen One. Obi-Wan only chose to train Anakin because of Qui-Gon, and that is ultimately why everything turned out as it did.
You lied to me. How many other lies have I been told by the Council? And how do you know that you even have the whole truth?
What makes Obi-Wan's character interesting and unique throughout the prequel movies is that you could spot the doubt in his face almost every time the Jedi Order did something unethical or straight up wrong, especially when it involved Anakin, even if it for the most part followed the Jedi Code to perfection. The humanity of Obi-Wan made him emulate Anakin's many innocent faults, because he spent so much time with him, and I think in fact he agreed more with Anakin than what he was willing to admit. That scared Obi-Wan, because most of what Anakin expressed was against the code Obi-Wan had lived his entire life to serve. So it was easier to instead ignore it, to not report Anakin's relationship with Padme or his unstable behavior, to rather let him be. But that was the problem. Anakin needed someone to express his feelings towards, but Obi-Wan wasn't open to those type of conversations, because he had almost never experienced them. The few times he tried to get through to Anakin, things almost just seemed to get worse.
As a Jedi, it is essential you make the right choice, Anakin. For the Order.
I understand my responsibilities.
Jedi weren't supposed to share their feelings. That's why all of them lived in a sort of denial towards each other, that everything was fine. Anakin and Obi-Wan weren't an exception, even if the funny dialogue made it seem like they had a time of their lives. Their toxic relationship very much got fleshed out in the Clone Wars series, and it highlights Obi-Wan's total failure in teaching Anakin the importance of listening to advice and not to view himself as a hero, rather a helper. His constant ignorance of orders is a great example of this, but the way Obi-Wan just appeared to disregard Anakin's actions was even more interesting to observe. He didn't seem to care about his former Padawan's behavior anymore, or he had just given up on him. Anyway, it was quite ignorant.
Everything I know, I learned from you, Master.
Oh, if only that were true.
The Clone Wars made everyone scarred for life. Anakin probably enjoyed the war because he liked the battles, the fighting, and the showcasing of his unique powers. But his journey towards getting invited to the Council was rushed and made him filled with self-sabotaging beliefs about that he could conquer anything or anyone. Obi-Wan witnessed all this as it happened. This heartbreaking evolution got to its climax in Revenge of the Sith in a way he probably didn't think was possible. The glimpses of Anakin's harmful and deadly behavior had been displayed on multiple occasions, especially towards Obi-Wan, because he was the closest Jedi Anakin knew. But every time Anakin's feelings got the better of him, Obi-Wan observed. He didn't react, and that's something he would have to live with for the rest of his life.
You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
Thank you for watching. Subscribe and press the like button if you enjoy the content. And may the Force be with you.
I don't expect to be welcome here.
You never know. I tend to be popular with the ladies.
Too popular.